The family that prays together stays together. Welcome to today's program, Doctrinal Reflections. Our theme today is on strengthening spiritual growth. My name is Seminarian Douglas Wafula from the Catholic Diocese of Bungoma in St. Thomas Aquinas Seminary, Nairobi. Talking about growth, in most cases, every speaker who speaks about growth, be it in marriage life, be it in academic life, be it in social life, they will always talk about setting strong foundations. Because it is by the foundation that will determine the type of growth and the strength of that particular growth. So be it our spiritual growth. And quoting Christ from the Gospel of Luke, chapter 6, verse 46 to 49, he talks about two builders, whom one built his house on a shaky ground and the other one built his house on a rocky ground, which was difficult. But he says that whoever built the house on a rocky ground will sustain all the problems. Everything that will come will not weaken whatever the foundation he lay. So dear Christians, today, as we talk about strengthening our spiritual growth, let us think about our foundation. Where have we laid our spiritual foundations? Some of us, we have laid our spiritual foundations in shaky and weak grounds, such that whenever temptations come across, we are easy to be swayed and we move away from what was our main aim. In spiritual growth, there are three main stages that we can talk about. The first stage is the purgative stage. This is the initial stage whereby an individual has been introduced to that particular spiritual life. We call them the neophytes, the new converts. You've joined a faith that you don't understand, so you want to learn and love it. In this stage, you find that a Christian from time to time wants to be reminded of things, example, prayer, having or coming to sacraments, attending Mass, and doing the works of charity. That is the purgative stage. From this stage, as the Christian grows, he comes to what we call the illuminative stage. This is a stage where somebody begins to realize himself or herself in this spiritual life. At this particular stage, a Christian will wish to join Mass every time, will wish to join the sacrament, maybe confession or any other sacrament, especially the sacrament of the Eucharist. Wherever they hear there is a Mass somewhere, they will strain to go and reach there. And the third stage, which is the main stage and the last stage, is the unitive stage. You become united in spirit with whatever faith you have. When we talk about spiritual growth, dear Christians, it's about the journey of faith. How has your faith developed from one particular stage to another? It's the reason why in the Catholic Church, we have the beginning of the catechism classes. When somebody comes to the church, before they begin partaking fully in the activities of the church, they join the catechism class so that they can be taught on what faith they want to believe in. As it is said, you cannot grow unless you are planted. So the catechism class is where faith is planted. St. Augustine in himself will tell us that in the Latin language, he quotes, credo ut intelligam, intelligo ut credam. This is to mean, yes, I believe in order to understand, but my understanding will better my belief. That's why the Catholic Church, the catechism classes help us to understand so that you can understand and answer the question, why do I believe in this faith? Dear Christians, today, spiritual growth is about leaning and learning God. By leaning to God is fully depending on God in your life. By learning God is to understand so that you don't just give out issues or don't talk about issues about faith and you don't understand. Look at Samuel. When you read the first book of Samuel, chapter 2, verse 26, the young boy begins this catechesis in the temple. From there, his growth does not only affect the life that he lives as a person, but also the community, because it is said the young boy, the young man grew in stature and also found favor in the eyes of people. Dear Christians, truly spiritual growth involves others. It's the reason why as a family, you have to take care of the spiritual life of your brother, your sister, your wife, your husband, or even the extended family. And the church in itself is a family because we come together united as one. Let us look at what are the main marks or things that you have to look at in our spiritual growth. We shall use the letter or the first letter of St. Paul to the Corinthians, chapter 9, verse 24 to 27. He talks about a race, that in a stadium, there are so many athletes who are participating in a race, and their main aim is to win, but only one person wins. So, who is this going to win? Is the one who will be strong. Let's talk about that relating to our spiritual life. Now look, these are the characteristics of the winner whom St. Paul is giving us. One is the person who knows themselves. Dear Christian, do you understand your spiritual life? Do you really understand the roots of where you come from in a spiritual way? The second thing is that the one who wins this race is the one who is disciplined in themselves. Being disciplined means that in the spiritual theology we talk about having a discipline of your appetites, having a discipline of your way of life. Avoid things that will come and taint your spiritual life. Avoid occasions of sin. Love the sacrament of confession. That's what we call disciplining yourself. And the third thing is to push yourself. In that very stadium where people are learning, is about reaching the end line. Our end line or our touch line or our finish line as Christians, as Catholics, is to reach heaven. So today, as we contemplate and think about strengthening our spiritual growth, it is about pushing yourself to the limits. How far can you pray? How far do you exercise spiritual activities? Or how many times have you given up? So today also, let us think about how we relate to God so that He can strengthen our spiritual life. The first thing is that let us be humble and pray, because humility is the only way we can reach God. The second thing, it is about reading the Bible. Remember that by reading the Bible, God is talking to us. And by us praying, we are talking to God. But most of us, we always maintain our times talking to God through prayer, but we have forgotten reading the sacred scriptures. The third thing, you have to have a spiritual director, somebody who can direct you in your spiritual life, that will give you the way forward, that will give you what you are supposed to do, that will always advise you in your failing and your waking up. Today, dear Christians, let us be favorites of spiritual activities like going to Mass. That one will strengthen our spiritual growth. And as we continue celebrating and awaiting during this Holy Week, prayer is the only sacrifice that we can offer. Let us deepen our prayer life, because through our prayer life, we shall encounter the strength that we need from day to day in our spiritual life. More so, as a family, moving together, we shall also have to say like St. Paul's, as St. Paul talks to Timothy in his second letter to him, chapter 4, verse 7, that yes, he has finished the race and is waiting for his gracious crown that's about to be given. But he says, it's not him alone, but with all others who have been with him. Moving together truly will always strengthen our spiritual growth, and through that we shall overcome all the challenges. And truly, as it is said, and it will remain to be, the family that prays together stays together. God bless you.